One couple things this class is not. This class is not to sell things to people that don't need it or can't benefit from it. Okay, so I don't want this class to be like, we're just trying to go out there and sell as much crap to people. That's not what I'm teaching, and that's not ever what I'll teach. We teach in an ethical way. We go to people's homes and we suggest things that they truly need or they want or they could benefit from it. But we're not going to walk into somebody's house and tell them that their panel is going to burn their house down tomorrow just to sell them a panel. Like, that's not what we do. So I want to get that out of the way first. I'm sure you have competitors in your area that label you as that type of company. I think we all have that. And it's just simply not true. And what it is they just don't understand how your company is as successful as it is without, manipulating people or screwing people over, okay? Now, there are two different types of technicians that are unethical. I call them manipulators. There's two different types. The one technician goes out there and he tries to sell stuff to people that he hopes they buy. So that's the common bad technician that's in our head, right? It's the guy that goes out there and tries to sell, like I said, every house they walk into, they just try to sell a panel or a generator or whatever. Whether the customer needs it, wants it, doesn't matter. They're there to sell stuff for their benefit. So they go to the house and they try to sell stuff that may not be needed. They are manipulators, and that's not who you want to be. Now, there's another type of technician out there that's also a manipulator, but this type of technician isn't the one we usually think of. This person goes out there and they only propose things that they would buy if they were the customer. So, for instance, going to the house and not giving them all the information, not giving them options, and just giving them a price on what they would buy if they were in the chair at the table across from them. And this is the more common manipulators out there. And in my mind, you're just as bad as the other guy. You're just as bad. I'll give you an example. I do heating and cooling too at my company. There was a technician that worked that I stole from a competitor. He sold $2 million of heating and cooling equipment a year. That's pretty damn good, right? I mean, you would think, hey, if I could get a guy from a competitor that sells $2 million, and again, this was probably 5 years ago, that's probably like 2.5 to 3 million today. If I could get that guy working for me, this will be amazing, right? So people who worked for me said, I need to go get this guy because he's amazing and he'll grow our company and all these things. So I reached out to him. We had coffee a couple times. Even when I met the guy, I'm like, I don't know how this guy is so great. Like, I don't see anything, really like that just comes out at me like this guy's just going to be amazing. It just didn't seem like that at all. I'm like, but I mean, he sells $2 million a year. I mean, I know he does. He's not making it up. He must do something right. So I hired him. Well, after about a year, I realized what he did. He was the second type of manipulator. So here's what he did. He had no skills whatsoever. He was just very, very confident. So he'd walk into the house, he'd walk up to the furnace, he wouldn't build any rapport. He did build rapport at the door, but he didn't really use any material or anything to build value in himself or the company. He would just kind of BS at the door a little bit. He'd walk in, he'd look at the furnace and be like, or the air conditioner, depending on the season, and he would be like, yeah, with the age of this, whatever, and he would just basically throw out the cheapest price we would allow him to sell with the cheapest piece of equipment we sold. And he would go and he would hit 4 or 5 houses a day, and he would sell $2 million. But now, he never gave a customer any options on more efficient equipment. He never gave them any options on Wi-Fi thermostats, indoor air quality, UV lights, filtration, nothing. Sometimes we were ripping out equipment that was more efficient than the stuff we were putting in. Now, is that okay? No. But you step back and think he sells $2 million a year, he must be amazing. No, he's a manipulator. Well, actually two things. He bought the thing he would buy, and he found out, he tweaked the system enough to figure out if I just go and do enough houses and I sell the cheapest thing at the lowest price I can possibly sell, I can sell a lot of it, right? And he had 2 crews behind him every day, just installing behind him all day. That's the other type of manipulator, right? Not giving options. We're still going back to those customers' homes, and they're still pissed at us because now our good technicians are going in there, offering indoor air quality stuff, Wi-Fi thermostats, letting the customers know that their equipment maybe isn't the best piece of equipment for their home. And they're mad. Now they're mad at us because they're like, why didn't the guy who sold me the furnace tell me about all these things you're bringing up? The customer's mad. They probably would have bought some of that stuff if they would have known about it, but nobody told them. Okay? So my point is, how do you get past this? It's options. And we're going to go through that today. But my point is don't be a manipulator. Don't guess what the customer will buy. Don't only propose the things you would buy if you were in their spot. And don't just try to sell the stuff you want them to buy. It's so much more simple if you run every call the same, which is, I'm going to give an option for everything the home needs. Built into that, I'm going to give an option of stuff they want. And my next option, I'm going to give the most important stuff and what they want. And my last option, I'm going to give the least amount of stuff the customer needs for what they called for, and then maybe one more small item. If you give options and you educate your customer, you're not a manipulator. You can't be, because you gave them all the information and they decided what they wanted. All right? So options will make you not be a manipulator. And I'll tell you, just human nature, you'll be a manipulator a little bit because you'll think a customer's not going to buy this thing because we do prejudge people. You can tell me all day long you don't prejudge people. We all do it. But limit it as much as possible. Okay? So we'll be going through that today. But I just want you to know that this class is not just to sell a bunch of stuff, it's to be the most professional technicians we can possibly do. All right, we don't have a projector or a TV today, so I'm going to do this is the first time I've explained the why thing without the video. So I know a lot of you in here have been to my classes before, and I usually play the Simon Sinek videos. Anybody heard of Simon Sinek before? Raise your hands if you heard of Simon Sinek. Okay. If you don't, maybe write the name down, and after this class, you can YouTube. It's Simon Sinek, and it's Why. That's the name of it.
We can actually set that up and play it after break.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So just
All right. Okay, so I'll try to go through this as best I can. He does a way better job than me explaining it, but I'll do my best, okay? So, one of the things he says in the videos is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, I'll kind of draw his circle. By the way, I have horrible handwriting and even worse spelling. Yes, I'm truly an electrician, right? Okay, so we have our why, we have our how, and we have our what. So this is generally how we talk to our customers. We start with the outside thing and we work our way in. So we all know what we do, right? Everybody knows what we do. Now you might think we do electrical work. That's actually not true. We actually we're customer service. Because we don't just do electrical work, do we? No. We diagnose things, we install things, but the biggest thing we do, I think, is we educate our homeowners on their home. That's probably the most important thing we do. I know we're all electricians, but what you really, the most important thing you do is you educate your homeowner because they don't know. You're giving them knowledge they don't have. Has anybody worked at a doctor's house before? Yeah. Has anybody ever worked at a scientist's house? An attorney? An engineer? We all love those calls, right? The engineer? Yeah, those are good ones, right? But here's the thing. Those are very, you would say, very smart people, right? They all have big degrees and they went to college and they're very smart people. They couldn't figure it out. That's why you were there. They either couldn't do the work or they couldn't figure out the problem. And they're very smart people. They needed you. They needed your expertise. In that area, you were smarter than them. Okay? So, we all know what we do. Customer service, home service, whatever you want to call it. All right? We all kind of know how we do it. We either, through this class, you'll learn how to run a service call. You know how to do the physical electrical work. You know how to diagnose and troubleshoot systems, right? But the one thing you really need to learn is, why do you do it? And this is something you really have to dive in and figure out inside yourself. Why do you do this? Why? You guys know just as well as me, you guys could go work for companies that wire new houses. You could go work for commercial companies. You could do commercial work, agricultural work. You could wire solar panels and wind turbines. You can wire cell phone towers. You can do all kinds of things. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do residential service work. So why do you do it? And I know a lot of you guys probably never even thought about this before, right? It's kind of funny how we don't even think about it. But why do you do this? Why do you get up every day, get in your truck, go meet homeowners, take care of their problems, educate them, make them happy, give them a great service experience, and go to the next house and do it again, and the next day get up in the morning and do it again? Why do you do it? And it's not money, because money's the result of it. Money's not why you do it. That's the result of after it's done. There has to be a different reason. So, in your packet, now, one other thing. This packet is fairly new. There could be some typos in it. I might not hit everything in it. If there's something I missed, please let me know. But there is a spot that I would like you to work on your why. The biggest one is, I think, on page 5. It's your why statement. So before you start writing, my why, I wanted to be the most professional electrician in my area. That was my why. It's not this really long, detailed story. This needs to be a very, very short, quick blurb of why you do what you do. And you can't steal your neighbor's, you can't take mine. It's got to come from the heart. Because if it doesn't come from the heart, your customers will see right through it, and you're going to look like a salesman. So maybe yours is you hate seeing crappy electrical work. Like it literally just bothers the hell out of you. You go into a customer's home and you see a handyman did a bunch of work, or a different electrical company did shitty work. That really, really bothers you. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's your why. Maybe you just love helping customers. You just love going in people's homes and helping people. Maybe that's your why. Maybe you want to get rid of the stigma in the industry of ripped jeans and beer T-shirt electrician. Maybe you want to get rid of that. You want to be your nice uniform, professional, nice tools, whatever it is, whatever your why is. That's your why. That's why you do it. And I want you to write down how you're going to say that to a homeowner. And I know you might think, well, that's going to be, I don't want to look corny coming into the home. and telling them my why. I can teach you stuff all day long. They say there's no silver bullet in sales, and they're right, but the closest thing is this. If you can get this down and you explain to your homeowner why you do what you do, there is no better tool I can teach you. There's no better sales tactic I can teach you than that. So make sure you write it down. Really think about how you're going to say it to the homeowner. So mine would be like, Mrs. Jones, one of the main reasons I got into this is I want to be the most professional electrician in the area. That's why I became an electrician. And I want to be the most professional technician in your home. That's it. Done. That's all. That's all longer it has to be. Short, sweet, to the point. And I don't want it to be robotic. I don't want it to sound salesman-ishy. I don't even care what point of the service call. I would do it towards the beginning. But that you tell them. The point is, don't keep it a secret. Don't keep your why a secret. And a lot of times, as technicians, as the majority of people in this industry, men, we don't like to talk about those kind of inner feelings, which is our why. But I'm telling you, customers love it. Absolutely love it.
In the initial introduction, is that when you present the why, or is it you wait for an organic approach to say, so how long you've been at the company, or why are you doing this? Or...
I would say the answer is yes. The answer is wherever is the most comfortable for you.
Okay.
I like to do it at a certain point, which we'll get to. In my company, we have a book of evidence. I don't know if everybody has a book of evidence or not, where it's like a brag book where you have like your reviews, your insurance forms, your licenses. If you guys have those at your company, I like to do it right after that. That's the spot where I put my why. But you could do it in front of the electrical panel. You could do it just, walking through the house with the customer. I don't really care when you do it. Just do it before you present price. Do it before then. I would do it more towards the beginning. But the biggest thing is don't keep it a secret, because that's what we do. You all have a why, and most of you in here have probably never told the homeowner once what your why is. In fact, you might not even know what it is right now until you figure it out. Okay? So, what is your why? And then, built into that, what is your why and why should the customer care? What in that is what the customer is going to like? So if your why is, I want to help people and make as much money as possible, that's great, that's your why. I would leave the much money as possible out. I wouldn't put that in there to your customer. They're not going to like that. All right? But put something in there nice, short, and sweet. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes here and really intentionally think of how you're going to say it. Does anybody want to share their why? Don't be shy. All right, nice and loud.
I mean, the reason I do this is I just really love fixing things, and that look on a customer's face when you walk in that house and you see a problem, and you're just like, I can fix this. I can figure out what's wrong here. I've seen this before. And that wash of relief that comes over them, it's why I do this.
Did that sound genuine to you guys? Yes. I thought it sounded awesome. And again, now some of you guys are sitting here like, that kind of sounds corny. I'm not going to say that kind of stuff in the house. That guy says that every time in a house, he will kill it, murder it. How do you not hire that guy after he says something like that? Like, you have to hire him. Like, that's so genuine, and he wants to help me so much, and he wants to, what'd you say, a sigh of relief over my face or whatever you said? That's freaking awesome. You can't steal it, but damn, I wish I could. All right? You have to, and here's the thing. You guys are going to say, I don't want to do that, I don't want to sound corny, but what it really comes down to is you are uncomfortable with doing something new. But I bet most of you guys run 2 to 3 calls a day. Was that about right? Maybe 4, but probably 2 to 3. If you did that 2 to 3 times every day for 2 months, would it become weird? No. You're going to get so used to doing it over and over again, you won't even think twice. It's going to just fall out of your mouth, and you won't even be thinking about it. But the hardest part is starting to do something different. So my big term, which I'm going to say over and over again, is we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because right on the other side of uncomfortable is success. What's on the other side of uncomfortable? Success. What's on the other side of uncomfortable? Success. So, if we're going to be successful, we have to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be asking you guys to do uncomfortable things in the home. This is one of them. But it's probably the biggest thing you can do for success. And I know you're like, Ken, I thought we were going to learn electrical sales here. I didn't think I'd talk about my feelings. Well, I'm sorry, this works. So if you want to be more successful selling stuff, you got to get uncomfortable. And on top of that, if you don't change what you're doing, are you going to really get any better? If you're going to leave this class and just do everything you've always done, you think something magically is going to happen and change where you're going to be more successful? No. You have to implement new things, and you have to be comfortable with change. Okay? So, that's a great one. Anybody got another one? Why statement. Come on, Alan, I know you're dying. Go ahead.
I mean, mine evolves usually, but the biggest points are I love solving problems, especially really weird ones, and I love educating customers, sometimes to my own demise because I got to dial it back a bit. But I like customers taking control of a situation so it doesn't feel so intimidating, that it was before.
Sure. Cut that last part out, you're good to go. That was awesome. That was awesome. That's great. Who else? Yes, sir.
I wrote down, ma'am, I genuinely want to be the best technician I know, and the only way I can do that is to provide you the best service quality and hope it shows.
That's awesome. Good, short, sweet, to the point. He actually wrote it down like he's going to say it to the homeowner. That's what I want you to do, just what he did there. Write it down just like you're going to say it to the homeowner. Not, I'm going to kind of say it this way, I'm going to kind of say it that way. Word for word, what are you going to say to the homeowner? And then memorize it. Say it over and over and over and over and over again until it's just burnt in your brain.
Can your why ever change?
I think so. I mean, I think it probably wouldn't happen too much, but it could, especially if you've been doing it a long time. I mean, life changes in you. Maybe starting this trade, you didn't have any children, and then you had children and you realized, now you have a different why, right? Now it's protecting families, where before, if you weren't a family man, it's not such a big deal. So they probably could, sure. You're going to know it, right? It's in here. There's no right or wrong answer. I can't tell you what your why is, all right? So when you arrive to a home, the customer sees you and a truck, right? That's all they see. So you're a big part of this. They're buying you, really. They're buying you more than the company. But they are buying the company too. So there's another why. The other why is your company you work for, why are they in business? And if you don't know what that is, ask your owner at some point. I know I'm putting him on the spot. I'm not going to make him say it now. But I hope they come up with their why. And I hope you ask them, because if you tell the customer why your company's in business and why you're an electrician, it just packs another punch into what it is. And I know most of you are like, the owner's in this for the money. Remember, the money is a result. That is not why we're doing this. That's the result. All right? And hey, if any owners want to give their why, go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason why I love to do it, I'm actually out in the field too, and I love to talk and I love to listen.
Okay. Yep.
I love hearing people's stories.
Great. So you can reverse that to say, I love owning a company that we allow our technicians enough time to hear people's stories and to help them. That's your why. Maybe does a lot of your companies, maybe they give to charities or something like that. Maybe that's their why. They just want to get involved in the community. Whatever it is, I don't know. But let them know both, your why and their why. I truly believe your why is more important because they're literally buying you at the house. I mean, they really are. Your company obviously helps, and the name of your company helps, and the reputation all helps. But if they don't like you and they don't trust you, I don't care what name's on the truck. They're not buying from you. All right? So, that's probably that's my biggest silver bullet I can give you is figure out your why and then figure out your company why and don't keep it a secret. Let your customers know.